Beware of false dichotomies. In life, you're often told that you are or must be one of two things: Republican or Democrat, conservative, liberal, introvert, extrovert, artist, scientist, genius, idiot. Us or them. Don't fall into this logic trap. Stick around to learn how to see and combat false dichotomies. I'm Ron Davis, and this is Distinctions for Life, where I help you get what you really want in life through small changes that make a big difference. If you're trying to get something out of life and want help getting it, you should hit the subscribe button below. I've also created a bunch of articles on my site about distinctions that can make a big difference in your life. You can get them for free by going to distinctionsforlife.tv and clicking on the toolbox button. Dichotomies are a special kind of belief, and like all beliefs, they can have a powerful impact on how we view the world, make decisions, and do things. With a dichotomy, you are one thing or the other. There are two choices, and you can only choose one. What makes dichotomies insidious is that they cut off all the related beliefs about the opposite of what you are labeled, and they give you a cognitive bias toward all the associated beliefs with your new label. In many, if not most cases, when you are presented with an either-or choice, it's a lie. There just aren't two choices. Let's take political parties as an example. I'm going to talk about the US political parties because I'm in the US, and we're told all the time that we only have two political parties. If you're in another country with a bunch of political parties, try and take the meaning of what I'm saying. I'll give you another example that everyone can relate to in a minute: the insidious dichotomy of introvert, extrovert. If you can only choose between being a Republican or a Democrat, a conservative or a liberal, then you must accept all the positions of that party, which most people would say, no matter which side they are on, that they don't accept all those positions. For example, let's say for a moment that you believe in small government and low taxes, but you don't think that drugs should be illegal. Are you a Republican or a Democrat? Many people hold such beliefs and find it strange to be forced under one label. That's what a false dichotomy is like. Now let's say that you live in a community that seems to be abandoned by the government and being destroyed by drugs. You identify as a Democrat because you believe the government should be doing more to help the people of your community. But you also don't want to see drugs made legal because they're destroying your community. You're being forced into one category or the other. Okay, that's a lot of political stuff, and you might not even agree with my characterization of the two parties involved. But remember that it's just an example to show you how we often are cajoled into false either-or choices. But it's worse because accepting a side creates a bias. Not only do you experience the dissonance of not feeling like you fit into one category or the other, but having been labeled that, it strongly influences your unchosen positions. Let's say you identify as a Democrat, but you've never really thought about immigration issues. When the issue starts coming up on the news, you're going to be much more likely to side with those you've already identified with. You're more likely to accept their position because you believe you are one of them. Okay, enough political stuff. Let's talk about the lie that does more harm than all the politicians combined. My favorite, or least favorite, false dichotomy is introvert versus extrovert. You either like being around people or you hate it. There's no other choice. But what about that anime watching party that you went to that one time and had that great time meeting and talking to fellow anime nerds you never met before? That wasn't being introverted. And at that same party, there was that guy standing in the corner not talking to anyone, but you'd seen him at a business gathering a couple of days before and were amazed how he talked to everybody in the room. The bias of labeling yourself as an introvert gives you a dread of going to anything where there are going to be people around. You know it is going to be horrible because you are an introvert, and that's how groups are supposed to make you feel. In the Republican-Democrat dichotomy, you have a bunch of factors that you don't agree with completely on one side or the other. In the introvert-extrovert dichotomy, you are really trying to make an either-or out of a range. I was set free when I read that there was a name for someone that sometimes felt like a wallflower and sometimes connected with every person that they met. Ambivert. False dichotomy broken, I was somewhere in the middle. Such a relief. Thank you, Vanessa Van Edwards, in her book Captivate. She is the poster child for this false dichotomy, calling herself a recovering awkward person. Here's the distinction you need to take away from this. Forget the specific examples. Think about the underlying truth here. When presented with an either-or dichotomy, ask yourself, is that dichotomy real? Is there another option? Are you somewhere in the middle? Question of the day. What false dichotomies do you see in life? Share them below as a warning to your fellow travelers. Thanks for watching today. If you liked what you saw, give me a thumbs up. If you want more, click the subscribe button and visit the DFL Toolbox link in the description. This channel is all about helping you get what you really want in life through small changes that make a big difference. Until next time, I'm Ron Davis, and watch out for those false dichotomies. Considerable or alertable. But you also don't want to see drugs made legal Republican or Democrat, conservative or liberal, person who pushed the button or person who didn't push the button. I don't know if you can hear the birds, but there's bird noises.